of leadership. It has...
Hey folks, sorry, we're jumping in a little late, but I wanted to bring you this press conference that's happening right now. The attorney for the LMPD officer who claims that she was sexually harassed by a fellow officer is speaking. Let's jump in.
Are following the lead of their chief. And at that time, it was Jacqueline Gwynn Villarreal. I want to take just a moment to speak about my client, Shannon Lauder. Shannon has been with the LMPD for 16 years. She has a great record. She grew up here in Louisville, and she comes from a family of police. In fact, her father, Brian Weber, was assistant police chief with the Jeffersontown Police Force. She cares deeply about the LMPD and how they police, and she cares deeply about doing the job that they're tasked with doing, which is serving and protecting this community. In fact, Major Lauder is in charge of the 1st Division. That division encompasses downtown, it encompasses Portland, and it encompasses parts of the West End. It is a division, it is the busiest division, and it encompasses the most officers to take command of. Major Lauder cares deeply about leadership, and she is passionate about reform within the LMPD. So before you ask the question, what is she seeking by doing this? Well, she's certainly seeking accountability for what happened to her, but she's also seeking real, long-standing change, the type of change referenced by the Department of Justice in their scathing March 8th, 2023 report that's been made public for all to read. Google it. She is so passionate about this, in fact, that she is in the process of outlining a book she plans to write, and has planned to write it for a very long time, on police leadership, how to effectively lead in a position of leadership in any police force, in hopes that one day it would serve as an unofficial manual for police officers across the country. I would like to also say we are encouraged with the steps that Mayor Greenberg has taken thus far. It is a step in the right direction, we believe. And at this time, I will open this up to any questions you may have.
Did Major Lauder make references to anybody else in LMPD before this reporting?
All I'm at liberty to speak to today is what transpired within that recording. I've been hired by Ms. Lauder to investigate the circumstances of the recording and the circumstances surrounding it. And I'm still in that process of investigation. So I will have an answer for you at a later date.
What is the date of this meeting?
May 22nd.
May 22nd, 22?
May 22nd this year.
Going into this meeting, did Major Lauder know that this question from the chief was going to come up, and had she planned to make this allegation during this meeting?
To my knowledge, Shannon Lauder had no idea what to expect at this meeting. Going into it, she thought it would be an ordinary, run-of-the-mill, what they call a comp stat meeting. She, in fact, was ill at the time, so she wasn't physically present at the meeting. Instead, she was allowed to remote in via WebEx. And so she attended remotely and recorded the meeting, which she was within her right to do.
Did she retain your services before the reporting?
She did.
Does she plan on suing?
If at the conclusion of my own investigation, the facts turn out to be actionable, and it is my client's ultimate desire to pursue a lawsuit, then I will certainly file a lawsuit on her behalf.
What are you how quickly the PSU investigation was? She reported this.
Could you say it one more time?
Do you know how quickly LMPD commenced the PSU investigation once she at least orally made the allegations?
I'm not sure. I can't speak today about any PSU cases. I will tell you, just for clarification purposes, there are multiple PSU cases ongoing.
Any PSU cases ongoing regarding what?
I can't speak to that right now.
Hundreds of PSU. You could say that against not all kinds.
Yeah.
You're saying there's multiple PSU cases going on regarding.
I can't say more than that. That would be a question for LMPD.
What's the purview of your investigation?
The purview of my investigation is leave no stone unturned.
Are there any previous disciplinary issues with either of the two majors?
I am not aware that there have been any serious disciplinary issues with either. I'm not aware.
In the recording, she used the word attack. To be clear, are we talking about sexual assault? Is that the allegation?
I can't talk about the details of the allegation at this time, but I will be able to talk about that just a little while down the road.
Why
As far as you
talk about it at this time, explain like to our viewers. Our viewers obviously want to know what happened. Explain to us why you don't want them to know at this point.
I would love for them to know. It's not that I don't want them to know. I, for legal reasons, cannot say right now.
What kind of legal reasons?
I can't talk about that right now.
Do we know if Acting Chief Humphrey was in the room at the time of the meeting?
That's a good question. I'm not aware. I would assume so. The meeting was called for all active command staff members, in which he was.
What is Major Lauder's status right now? Is she working or is she taking some time off?
Major Lauder is processing everything that's happened and considering her options. I don't know that I can speak for her and say what she is or isn't, how she would coin what she is or isn't doing. But she's at least as of today not attending meetings.
It seems like there's a lot we can't talk about right now. What is something that you want as this takeaway? It seems like there's a lot of answers to questions that are like, you can't speak about this, whether it's for legal reasons or what is your main takeaway that people should know?
I want people to understand and know that what my client's looking for is change in leadership, change in culture, and change in efficacy of the LMPD to be able to serve and protect this community.
Again, I'll ask any specifics.
Sure. One of the specifics is the recording we're talking about. We're here to talk about today, right? It evidences poor leadership by intimidation, leadership by threat, leadership that creates an environment of discord as opposed to harmony, leadership that creates an environment of mistrust versus trust. That needs to change.
At the beginning of the call, it stated that there are a lot of leaders maybe stepping outside of their roles, maybe not performing. Do you have anything to speak to about that?
I don't, but I'm going to look into it now that you've said so. Thank you.
You were retained prior to the recording. At that time, what was the purview of your retainment? Why were you hired at that point?
To investigate events surrounding what we've heard in the recording.
Your client believe that she's fired?
I can't speak for my client. I appreciate the question, though.
How would
share this
you
recording
personally
with-
have liked?
Sorry.
How would you personally have liked to see Chief Bill Wow react once Lauderdale made his allegations during the meeting? Like, would you have preferred she stop believing or pivot? How would you have liked her to respond?
That's a great question. Me personally,
Yes.
Sure. Me personally, I would like to have seen her take that 60 seconds pause and think about Shannon. Think about the position that her officer is in right now, what this must feel like in a room of her peers, and in a room where the person that she alleged sexually harassed her was also present, and addressed her from that perspective, which I think would have allowed her to approach Shannon or respond to Shannon in a way that was much more human, as opposed to announcing immediately that she's going to promote the very individual that my client alleged sexually harassed her. Instead, pause that, save that for later, and ask my client if she'd like to discuss it further after the meeting in private. That would be a start.
They should just stop the meeting right then and there.
That would have been another good option, right? Stop the meeting and adjourn at another time. Sure.
Did you share this recording with the mayor's office? And if so, when did you share it with them?
I did not personally share this recording with anyone.
Did Major Lauder share it with the mayor's office? Do you know if so when?
I'm not aware if Major Lauder shared it with the mayor's office.
You guys file a formal civil lawsuit, and if not, what are your plans for that?
There has been no civil lawsuit filed to date. Regarding plans, again, I'm still in the investigative phase of all of this, and if the facts warrant filing a civil suit, and if it's my client's desire ultimately to do so, then I will certainly do so on her behalf.
Are you aware of any information that can corroborate your client's allegations at this time? Supporting evidence?
I am aware.
But you cannot share what that is.
I can't speak to it further than that, right? At this time, at least.
Do you believe the chief was aware of any of these allegations or issues prior to that reporting?
You know, I don't know what the chief was or wasn't aware of. So, I'm sorry, that's a tough question.
Do you know when these incidents occurred? The assault or the harassment? When did they happen?
I do.
Long period of time?
Can you articulate which incident you're speaking of?
I don't know which incident. How many incidents are there?
Right.
How recent are they? Weeks, months, years?
I can tell you this. I'm in the process of investigating events that span the last 4 years in time.
As far as you know, who are the officers?
I'm so sorry.
As far as you know, who are the two officers involved in your research? Have you discovered how long they've been on the force? Can you tell us who they are?
Well, I'm researching everyone that's connected to the events concerning my client.
To the best of your knowledge, when did the mayor know about these allegations?
I'm not sure when the mayor became aware of these allegations.
Did Major Lauder file a formal complaint within LMPD prior to the meeting?
I can't speak to that right now.
Are you getting cooperation from Metro Police with your inquiries?
To date, Metro Police has been cooperative. Yes.
Has there been any communication between the mayor and Lauder since this came out? Has he shown any type of reaction to the experience that you had during that meeting?
I am not personally aware of any communication between the mayor and Major Shannon Lauder since yesterday's, since you broke the story. That doesn't mean it hasn't happened. I'm just not aware of it. I can tell you that there has been communication between she and interim appointed Chief Humphrey, and that was appreciated contact.
Were you present when Major Lauder was on the meeting?
No, sir. No, sir.
Was Major Lauder recording this meeting before that question came up? Did you?
Yes.
Why did she decide to record the meeting?
That would be a question for her. I can't answer that right now.
When will you be able to share more with us? What kind of timeline?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we're going to continue the investigation and continue discussions with LMPD and the mayor's office. And down the road, whether it's 2 weeks to a month and a half, and don't hold me to the date, guys, because I don't. Every day is evolving, and it's evolving at a more rapid pace as each day goes by. So I'm going to do my best to keep you all updated as best I can. And as soon as we have new information that's substantial that you all will certainly want to be tuned into, I will let you know.
Do you know?
And that last
Do
question.
you know of any other women who have stepped forward since this came out or contacted your office about similar experiences?
It's a great question. I can't say that I've personally been contacted yet. However, I also can't swear to that because I've been busy last night corresponding with all of you. So I need to check my email as soon as this is over, certainly. But I will say this. My client has received an influx of communication from women applauding what she's done. They're proud of her, and there seems to be a real feeling of relief for them. So there's that. And women in her life, which includes people in LMPD as well. I appreciate all of your time, and this concludes the conference. Thank you.
All right, folks, that was the live press conference from Jared Smith. He is an attorney who is representing Major Shannon Lauder, who yesterday, as we broke this story, our troubleshooter, Natalia Martinez, broke it here about the incident involving Major Shannon Lauder saying that she was sexually harassed by a fellow officer. And in a meeting that happened with other folks from LMPD and Chief Jacqueline Gwen Villarroel. In that incident that we broke yesterday, there was a recording of what transpired, and the chief was placed on paid administrative leave. According to her mayor, she was not involved in this sexual harassment allegation, but for her way of handling Major Lauder's concerns of what she was going through. You can hear that recording on our website, wave3.com. Natalia was the first to break this story and had that for us here. So you can listen to that to get a little bit more context of the background in this story. So we're going to have much more team coverage on this story happening later today here on Wave News, and we will bring you much more coverage of this big developing story, the shakeup happening at LMPD. Have a great day.